Viola, number 32 and number 3. Long story short, AFC quarterback picture, it is crazy. This conversation will be as well. Shady, which AFC QB has the most to gain in this playoff race? None of those quarterbacks side of Mahomes has a Super Bowl. Right. They all could achieve one. Mahomes could achieve 2. What's there to gain? No wrong answers.
I'm going with Justin Herbert, right? You love to look at these quarterbacks and you put them in a draft class. So you got Joe Burrow, you got Jalen Hurts, and you got Tua, right? So I think he has Tua just from the injuries and done more stats-wise. But then you look at Jalen Hurts. He's slowly creeping up, right? And he has the edge on Jalen, I think, because the stuff he's done so far. More passing touchdowns, more passing yards. And this is Jalen's first year of really coming out. And then you look at Joe Burrow, right? And if you look at the talent, you would probably go with Herbert. But if you look at who has done more right now, you got to go with Joe, because Joe took his team to a Super Bowl. That's the question. So if Justin Herbert can take this team to the Super Bowl, now there's no argument who's the best quarterback in that draft class right now, considering that he has all the numbers. I mean, more passing touchdowns, more passing yards in the first 3 years. So I got to go with Justin Herbert. Everybody loves to talk about how great he is as a quarterback, his arm strength. Every new week, we keep saying somebody from an ex-coach or ex-Hall of Famer talk about how good he is and talented he is. So this is the test.
I love that answer. I love that answer, Shady. I'm going to actually say Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow has the most to gain from this playoff run. If Joe Burrow goes and wins a Super Bowl, he would have a Super Bowl appearance and a Super Bowl win in 3 years. He would have already accomplished what Russell Wilson did through his 9, 10, 11 years of his career, because Russ hasn't gone back in 3 years. He would have accomplished what Patrick Mahomes has accomplished from a collective perspective in 3 years. Remember, we do talk about MVPs, but we talk about Super Bowls more. Aaron Rodgers has 4 MVPs, but the trump card is Tom Brady has 7 Super Bowls. If Burrow has the run that I believe he's capable of having, he will be catapulted into a category that most quarterbacks cannot achieve in the duration of their career. I'm also thinking about once Joe Burrow wins a Super Bowl, because he will, whether it's this year or in the future, Super Bowl appearance and another Super Bowl, so 2 appearances and a win. Now to get into the Hall of Fame, all he just got to do is buy time and pad stats. Like, he has to win nothing else. Now he just got to throw for yards. It literally will be accomplished just by the nature of his existence in the National Football League. So again, I think there's nothing but right answers. The right answer I will go with is Joe Burrow. Joy Taylor, where do you stand? Most to gain, what AFC quarterback?
Yeah, I like both of those, but I'm going to go with Josh Allen, because Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes are like this. They've played in incredible matchups, but Mahomes obviously has the trump cards of league MVP and the Super Bowl and another Super Bowl appearance. And when you're looking at these 3 behind us, 2 of them have played in a Super Bowl. The only thing Josh Allen hasn't done is played in a Super Bowl. I think these 3 are the top, the elites. They're in that slight upper category. Patrick Mahomes obviously being the best in the AFC. And so I think Josh Allen has the most to gain because of that. We obviously know how talented he is. I mean, you can go down the resume of all he's done and all of his numbers, but 2-time Pro Bowler, first 1-time second-team All-Pro, all of the statistics. We know how talented he is. We know he's been to the AFC Championship game. To get over the hump and even play in the Super Bowl would be that next level for Josh Allen. And honestly, you want to see Josh Allen in the Super Bowl. He's so talented and so amazing to watch. To have him be able to play on that stage, I think would take his already amazing career to another level.
It's too many good quarterbacks for one conference. Like, can we send some of these guys to the NFC? There's no wrong answer to this, and I love that point, because, I mean, if Josh Allen were to win a Super Bowl, then, I mean, now you can make the argument about him being the best. But I agree with Shady, honestly, that it's Justin Herbert. And this breaks my heart. You can't prove this statistically. It's a narrative thing. But, okay, these 3 on the screen, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, we're sold on them, right? Nobody's questioning that. If Joe Burrow goes 1 and done in these playoffs, he's still got a winning playoff record for his career. Like, that's the power of making a Super Bowl run. We're not, nothing that happens to Patrick Mahomes is going to change our opinion. Never. We're sold on Josh Allen, too. No, we're not quite as sold on Justin Herbert. We're just not. And, I mean, that's arguably because of the lack of postseason and big game success. So, and on top of that, let's be real, they've got the hardest matchup of anybody in the AFC in the first round. That is the biggest toss-up in the AFC for the wild card round. So if he wins that, if he puts together a real run, then you can pull out all the numbers we talk about so much. Most passing yards in the first 3 seasons, most touchdowns, most 300-yard games. He's got all of that. If he can prove that he can win in the playoffs, I mean, what do you have against the guy? Like, I think when you talk about the most to gain, if he can put a run together, then I think now you have to include him among the 2 or 3 best quarterbacks in the league.
What's fascinating, if Herbert does make a run, it validates all of his statistics.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Shady, we have this argument, you, Joy, and I have this argument all the time. Like, what matters more, the winner of the Super Bowl or the yards? The yards can end up being irrelevant without the Super Bowl win. Phillip Rivers, I believe, has the 6th most passing yards in the history of the National Football League, but Phillip Rivers isn't in conversations with Big Ben. He's not in conversations with Peyton Manning. He's not in conversations with all of these other greats because he never had the win. If Herbert gets the win, all of a sudden it certifies all of those yards. I have a question for the desk. I just thought of it. Big Ben, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Phillip Rivers, those were like those great AFC quarterbacks, at least while I was coming up. Phillip Rivers ended up being left behind. Shady, who do you think of all of these incredibly great quarterbacks might run the risk, maybe by nature of their team, maybe by nature of the organization? Who do you think might end up being left behind? Because think about the playoff picture in the AFC. First rounder, first rounder, first rounder, first rounder, first rounder. All 7 teams starting quarterbacks are first-round picks. Who could run that risk?
On this board?
Yeah, on that board. It's tough.
No, he's setting me up.
I hate that question.
Out of the quarterbacks that are in, I mean, I would have to say Trevor Lawrence.
Because of the organization.
I mean, we've never seen Jacksonville really consistently stay above that hump. We've seen them have moments, but to get up there and stay there would be a new level for Jacksonville. And out of all these guys, we haven't seen Trevor Lawrence hit a super high yet. So we've seen him have good games, but he hasn't hit that, like, okay, he's arrived moment. Now, he could do that this weekend, but he's not there yet. All of these guys that we have on, on the board have extreme talents, but he's the only one that we don't know about yet, and he plays for Jacksonville.
I'm going to say Justin Herbert, right? Because I think Doug, he can win a championship. He showed you that.
Yeah.
I can win a championship with Nick Foles, underdogs the whole way. I can do that. Justin, if you look at just the Chargers in general, Phillip Rivers you talk about, every year they got close. They never got it done. So in that whole DNA of the Chargers, I would have to go with him. Hopefully he changed it. I'm not wishing that on him.
Of course, no.
But it's like you making me hate on him.
No, I'm just wondering.
He's smooth.
I'm truly, if y'all don't want to answer the question, I can ask y'all who's going to be the Tom Brady.
You didn't ask because of their ability. Like, where you are matters.
Correct.
Prior to Joe Burrow going to Cincinnati, I mean, people were talking about Joe Burrow refusing to go to Cincinnati.
Correct.
So until you go there and change it, that's what it is.
What's fascinating about sports is, unfortunately, it's a zero-sum game.
Exactly.
Winners create losers.
Yep.
Losers create winners. So we can sit here and wax poetically, but everybody can't be Tom Brady. There's going to be a Peyton. There's going to be a Big Ben who's going to sneak in and get his. There's going to be a Flacco.
See, hold up, but that's it right there, though.
Okay, you're right.
Sneak into 2.
But like, he went to 3, even to your point.
But,
1 to 3.
But my issue is, only thing about these young guys, and I think Joe Burrow is super dope. I love his swag. I love his play. I love the culture they built in there. Even Justin Herbert. My problem is Josh Allen is going to be like Peyton Manning, right? And Tom Brady is going to be Patrick Mahomes.
Then what's Burrow going to be?
But that's what I'm saying. I don't think we're going to get to see Burrow on that level because talent-wise, yards-wise, but I don't see them boys.
That's what I like about this question. It's fascinating.
I just want to ask.
I'm hard to beat them dudes.
Not hating on his ability,
He's never lost
but
to them.
Josh Allen, Josh Allen's contract's about to kick in. Like, winning for the Bills is going to be a lot harder in the next couple years than it has been recently, just when you talk about, again, allocating cap space. So I think that's something to consider.
I can't wait to watch for the years. Again, we all saw Big Ben win 2, go to 3. We saw Peyton Manning win 2, go to 4. We saw Tom Brady in the AFC go to 9 and win 6.
Go to 9.
This crazy roster of AFC quarterbacks I can't wait to watch. Daniel Jones, he's been fun to watch this season. He somehow helped the Giants get into the playoffs for the first time since 27. On camera, we're going to give you all phenomenal content all day long. That is Dave Hellman, NFL Insider. That's the brilliant Joy Taylor. This is Philadelphia Eagles all-time rushing leader LaShawn, Shady, McCoy, and I am Emmanuel ACho. Now, the Dallas Cowboys are America's team. But this is very, very fascinating what I'm about to tell you. Number one, you can't fix a problem that you don't know exists. So what is the problem that the Dallas Cowboys have that they refuse to acknowledge, thus refuse to fix? Well, Jerry Jones will tell you. He said in a quote earlier today, very simple. It's in Dak's DNA not to turn the ball over. It's in Dak's DNA not to turn the ball over. Now, look, Jerry, you can't fix a problem if you don't know it exists. Dak Prescott 15 interceptions on the season, tied for the league, but he only played in 12 games. Is it not in Dak's DNA? Because objectively speaking, it actually is. Check the facts out. This blew my mind when I researched it. Since 2017, the quarterbacks that have at least 2,000 passing attempts, Dak Prescott, where does he rank